Vi har med oss, om ingen mindre än, den stora ökända Terry Evans. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you.
We talk about that. For us, it's have been like for me, it's like an honor to talk with you today because I grew up with okända, the people like maybe know you from television, and I told Martin that if somebody told me for a couple of months ago if that I'm gonna have you like a guest, it was be like, no, that's not possible. And today we're sitting here. Do you think everything has a meaning?
Well, first thing too, I would like to say as you were talking, in Swedish I understood.
Okay, okay, that's good.
But let's continue like that. Your question again.
Do you think everything has like a reason? It's a reason we are sitting here together today. When I thought maybe like 1 year back that this was never possible.
Well, I think that in all the years I've been working with the spirit world, one thing I've understood that there's a very important word called synchronicity.
Yeah.
Once you hit on the right thing and you say, yeah, this is what I'm going for, especially with these things, everything seems to follow a pattern after that. Mm. And for me, I remember many, many years ago when I first went to mediums, the medium was to tell me, well, in the future you're going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to do that. And just like you, I thought, yeah, sure. I didn't disbelieve it and I didn't believe it. But what I did is I put it onto a shelf in my head, in my mind, in the archives of my mind. And it was like, let's wait and see. But the amazing thing is that everything these medium predicted, it's all come true.
It's like that.
Just like that. It was like when I first went to see a medium, I didn't know anybody that had died or passed or whatever. But this medium was really, really good at giving proof of life after
death. But you think that you started when you were like experienced when you were like a kid, and you thought that you maybe were like seeing things that wasn't true?
Well, when you're a kid, you don't sort of try to analyze. You've got this open mind, and you just receive. And I've told this story many times, but one I lived with my grandmother, and one night I'm sort of in her bed. She's reading her magazine, and I'm just sort of looking around. And suddenly I hear this dog barking. And I looked to my left, looked onto the floor. I could see this dog. For me, it was real. So I said to Grandmother, Mama, there's a dog in the room, Mama. And she said, really? She said, tell me about it. She didn't laugh at me. And I described the dog to her in a way that a 4-year-old would. 4 years old. She said, that was my dog. He's buried in the garden.
Oh my God. Did she like also have this ability as, do you think?
Well, she was very intuitive. But the thing that every summer when she would go on holiday, she always made a point of going to see a fortune teller.
Did you have the time to tell her that you have the same ability as the fortune teller she went to? Now, or how does it work?
How does what work?
Like, was she alive when she
Sure. She knew me in the early days of my development as a medium. And we used to have a lot of fun together with that because I could tell her things that went right back to her childhood, to when she was very young. And I remember once I said to her, do you remember the horse whose name was Peanuts? And she said, yeah.
Oh my God.
And this was going back 60 years.
Did she sometimes like get like afraid of you?
No. My grandmother and I, we were as close as two human beings could become, not just physically, but emotionally, but psychically too.
Yeah.
We had a very, very strong connection.
Was it difficult growing up with your parents when in the early days when this maybe was not as popular like now?
It wasn't. How can I say? This is quite interesting. It was difficult for them because I could say things and see things that they didn't want to hear. And I remember once my stepfather, he said to me one evening, you know, I was about 12, he said, "What do you think of me?" Big mistake. But as I started talking, it was something had taken me over. And I was able to give him information that went beyond, in some ways, the words that the words I was using.
Yeah.
They were like words of an older, more developed person. And I don't know how long it went on for, but when I'd finished, I looked at my mother and my stepfather. They were power. They were in shock. And my mother said, "How can you say things like that?" I said, "I don't know. I just did."
Yeah.
And then everything I said about him all came true.
What happened? What happened along the way? Was it like they accepted your ability, or is it like they have like?
Well, my mother was always kind of interested in these things, but accepted. I don't really know.
No.
I don't really know because many of the mediums out there would understand this. When I was a kid, I kind of, like I had my feet in two different worlds, one here and one in the spirit world. So it was like, you know, I never quite knew where I was.
No.
Accepted, well, it was my mother. She was the one who I met in the street one night, and I said, "Where you been?" And she said, she looked very pleased with herself, happy. And anyway, "I've been to the medium," she said. "Really?" Okay. She said, "You should go." No. You should go. So anyway, a week later, I found myself sitting in front of this medium.
Yeah.
A day that changed my life.
It was like that. That was the day you changed your life.
That was a day when after being with this guy, he could read me like a book. He could tell me my history, how things had really been. And he was a really interesting guy, because during the Second World War, he delivered milk to people's houses. And he went to a house, he was delivering milk, and suddenly maybe a brother or a husband who'd been killed in battle, he would say, "I've got him with you. He wants to say hello." So they called him the psychic milkman. An ordinary guy. I think in his ordinary everyday job, he delivered bread or something, this medium. But anyway, but he had a very good reputation of giving evidence.
This was in the UK.
This was in the UK. I was 22 then.
Anyway,
I thought, well, who can he bring back for me? I didn't know anyone that had died. But obviously the spirit world knew, because the spirit world has an intelligence that you wouldn't believe. Anyway, he said, "Well, I've got this man here, he's 20 years old, his name is Billy. He was blown up on a ship in the Second World War. He was a relative of yours. He was 20 years old." I said, "Sorry, you're wrong. Never heard of him." Some days later, I was talking to my mother about this medium, and I talked to her about this man, Billy, the seaman whose ship was blown up. I said, "The medium was wrong." He said, "It was a relative." She said, "No, he wasn't. That was my cousin." Well, that's proof.
Yeah, of course.
But the interesting thing was, after that, I seem to be taken over here, so shouldn't you be asking?
No, yeah, we just listen. That's perfect, because the thing is that you have to tell your story.
Well, the thing was, that was a day that changed my life.
Yeah.
And the other things he said, I could recognize. It gave me an identity of this kid who didn't know what the hell was happening. Anyway, some months later, 2 or 3 months later, I hear the voice. "Go back to that spiritual center." And it kept repeating itself. Anyway, I gave up. So I thought, oh, maybe they want me to go and see the medium again. And then I arrived there, and a man there, and he said, why have you come here tonight? I said, to see the medium. He's not here tonight. And then he looked at me and he said, we're just about to start a medium development group. Do you want to join us? And I'm thinking, what? Oh. And I heard my voice say, oh. So I went in there and I said, well, what do I do? Yeah. And he said, well, just sit quietly. You'll be drawn to certain people in this group. And I did that. And when it came to my turn and information I gave them, I saw pictures or heard words or whatever. They recognized it. Even some of them recognized friends or relatives coming back. I didn't know what I was talking about. It just came. And that was the start of the journey.
But do you think that along your way of being like a medium or psychic, or is it like a difference between psychic and medium? Is it, or do I want me to call you medium or?
Well, I've often struggled with what you're asking for. What am I?
Because the thing is, you told me that sometimes in the beginning you maybe feel like you were strange. Is it like something that took a long time to accept that you were different?
Well, that didn't take so long, because after having all these strange feelings up until I was 22 and went to see my first medium, I could see things, I would know things, and I didn't know why. So that scared a lot of people, that made people nervous, just like you two guys. You've never been normal at all, neither one of you. But it's true, you haven't.
No.
You two guys have never accepted, you wanted to find your own truth. You've always thought out the box.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what people said to you, you had your way of feeling and seeing. And that's why you're doing this here today. It's no coincidence.
So the thing is that me and Martin always try to do what we want to do, and even if people maybe like asking questions or like saying that's not good, we don't bother of it. It's we're trying to do what we like to do.
I think it's not a question of what you like to do, it's what you feel you should do.
Yeah, that's maybe true, because this is what we want to do for like living. This is what we like, we say burn for it, we call it brinna för det.
Well, the interesting is what you're saying here now is like, for the first 14 years, from going into that meditation group for the first time, I dedicated those time and years. I had a job, ordinary job, but I put aside time for me learning how to understand this mind of mine.
Yeah.
And I just studied and learned and practiced, and I wrote as a medium in my spare time. And I'm so glad that was my incentive. That was I want to learn. It wasn't about being famous or making money, because those two things didn't exist in my life. So it was a journey. And the great thing was, the incentive wasn't being famous or making money. It was about learning, just like you two guys are doing now.
Yeah.
Because this is a learning process for both of you. I seem to be taking over here, but
no. The thing is, we're learning a lot of things, because a couple of months ago, before we started, we were like, I think things that happened to us, or maybe a situation that we maybe go into. We just did it. Now we are like feeling our like intuitions or guts, or we're trying to like develop our soul, our inside more than before.
Well, it's like what you're doing now. I don't know how long you've been working with the part, but
6 months maybe.
6 months, 6 months. This must have been quite a time for you to develop, as you say. Your mind becomes more open, more creative. You get better ideas, and as you said earlier, the gut feeling. So both of you, when you were young, you had the same feelings then, but no one would listen to you.
Yeah. I love that when Terry said förstår du. It's like the signal for the okända. Förstår du?
Same way,
when you went to Sweden, you was in 1991, I think maybe.
The first time it
the
came
first-
here to
yeah.
work, yeah.
And how did you think the people in Sweden was like taking your ability?
Well, I don't know. I can't really say, you know. But the thing is, too, before I worked here, I lived in Iceland for 3 years. Again, it's just another story about synchronicity, and synchronicity works, the ego doesn't take over. And for many years, people would say to me in the UK, you should be professional. No. If I'm meant to be professional, the opportunity will come to me. And as you both know, when we're ego and ambitious, we can make mistakes because the ego can take over.
Yeah.
So I've always followed a line of synchronicity, keeping neutral, staying neutral. And one day I just got a telephone call in London from this woman in Iceland saying, I've heard about your work. How the earth she heard about me? You know, I'm not professional. But anyway, I went there for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, she said, can you come back for the winter? I'll work for me for the whole winter. At the same time, synchronicity again. She said in September, she came in September, she said, we are going to this conference in Holland.
Yeah.
People coming from all over the world. Do you want to go? I said, sure. And they're Swedish people. So when you ask that question about did my work have any effect? The most amazing thing was that after I'd done that 2 weeks in Iceland, I got back to the UK, and I kept hearing his voice. There's a medium, I saw sounds på svenska, in near to where I was living, and his voice said, go there tonight. So I went there, and the medium came to me first of all, bang. And she didn't know anything about me. She said, well, the spirits are telling me you've just been working abroad and whatever, and they've been monitoring your work. And they said they liked the way I was straight and honest and didn't put any bullshit into it. And they said, if you will continue to work like that, you speak with our voice, not the voice what the recipient wants to hear.
Yeah, of course.
You'll always have work. So again, you know, after a while, I had the feeling it's time. They said, time to go to Sweden now.
It was like they told you to go to Sweden.
Yeah.
So it was like a mission you had.
Mission, I think so. Maybe.
What do you think it's like? Why do you think the other side wants people to have disability? What is like the important thing for us to learn about this?
Well, the thing is, there's about 5 questions there, so
yeah.
let's go back to
the first one.
I'll just give that back to you guys. You know, you said the feeling you had that you always wanted to meet me. Do you know why? Do you really know why?
Because I want to know if there are like life after death.
But you already know that, so don't try that
one. But before I didn't know.
I understand. Okay, but how can I say? Answer this question again, because you asked 5 questions. Just ask me one.
Why is like the other side? We call it like. Why do you think they're also? Why do they give like disability to some people to have disability to have?
Well, can you imagine if everybody was a medium? Can you imagine? You know, can you imagine me being on a bus one day and turn to a woman sitting next to me and saying, "I have a medium. I have a message for you. I'm a medium." And she said, "Oh, that's funny. I'm a medium too." You know? Everybody has a natural intelligence that they're born with.
Yeah.
And it's connected to their DNA, and is connected to the journey that their soul must make in a particular incarnation. So everybody has this natural ability, but some people say everybody's a medium. I don't believe that. Everybody is capable of seeing and feeling and experiencing spirit, but it doesn't make them a medium.
Do you think like you can, if you have like great intuition or the guts of thing, you can like learn to be a medium, or is it you have to be born with it?
I think you're born with it.
Yeah.
No, for me, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
What either someone else's idea is about it, that's their truth, but it's not mine.
Mm.
Could you imagine me when I was a kid, my teacher saying, well, what do you want to do when you get older? Do you still want to be weird? And do you want to talk to the dead? And, I didn't search for it. It was there.
Yeah.
Going right back to that story of my grandmother.
Yeah. But you have contact with the other side a lot. Is it like you have answers that you don't want to talk to tell about because we're going to be afraid, or is it like how does it work? Do you have a lot of keys that we?
Well, put it like this: to be a medium, for me, I'm working with a higher intelligence is much higher than me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I work as a medium, first of all, I have to change my mind, change the frequency of my mind, and connect with that frequency of that intelligence. That intelligence and what they're going to talk about. So first of all, I have to connect. But a psychic and a medium, what I just did with you, both of you, that was nothing to do with the spirits.
It was only your...
I just used my ability on another frequency.
Yeah.
I just read you.
Yeah, you told me that I run 1,200 miles per hour, and that's everybody tells me. So you just met me like 2 minutes.
You haven't got much patience in traffic either. I wouldn't like to be sitting next to him sometimes.
He's afraid when I'm driving, I think. But
anyway, sorry.
But the thing is, Terry, you have like now you're like learning, you're like teaching people to be like you.
No, I'm teaching people. The first thing I do with my work is teaching to people to take them on a journey to discover who they really are.
Okay, so
what their purpose is in life.
Yeah.
To show them, help them discover the things that stop them going forward in life.
Mm.
Old fears, old emotions. And also a lot of people come to me and they may be on courses that they don't become mediums, but their mind opens.
Yeah. And
they discover other aspects of themselves that can bring more quality to their lives.
Yeah.
And every day.
Do you think, I was wondering if I have your ability and was like quite famous that you are, that you go to the to the supermarket and you're like people, I think they have the like inside, they want to ask you a question about can you feel my mother, can you feel my father, do you feel that people like look at you when you go to the supermarket because they want to ask you a question, or do they let you be? Do you, like,
it depends on the person.
Yeah, but does it happen that you have been in this situation? Yeah,
it happens a lot.
Yeah,
it's. I remember one situation. I was in Village, that supermarket, and we came to pay at the cafe. I came to pay, and there was 3 kids there. A friend of mine was with me, and they were saying something to me in Swedish, but I wasn't really taking much notice. And my friend said, they want your autograph. So they had these receipts that they picked out of the box, and they wanted me to sign them, and I signed them. Guess what? They ran back and gave them to their mothers. The mothers were too afraid. They sent the kids. But you get that a lot, and also too.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people, quite a few people who have been very negative towards me.
Yeah.
Because of what I believe in, they recognize me, and most of them are Christians.
Mm. But do you think that that's what we have a lot of also question about is the people sometimes that if you don't have you cannot believe in ghosts if you're like Christian? Is it correct, or is it like?
Well, I will say this. I have had priests come to me on education.
It's like that, yeah.
I've had priests come to me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of priests that believe in the power of spirit, but they don't dare talk about it. But yes, the church, the the Swedish church. I remember when I not first, but I remember some years back, I went them, but I was working in a kursgård that was connected to the church. And I told them what I did. They said, okay, fine. But to cut a long story short, the Swedish church had a huge investigation on me. Huge.
Yeah.
And they even went to a professor in theology at university in Örebro to ask about me. And the man who I never met said, don't go near him, he's dangerous.
Don't go near him, it's dangerous.
So everybody has a right to believe in God in the way they want to. That's their right. And I, for one, when I'm working as a medium, I'm not trying to convert people into doing what I'm doing.
No.
Everybody has their own unique truth to discover.
Yeah. And I think that we talked before that this is for you is like a mission. It's not to be famous. It's like, just like you use the ability because you want. It's for helping the people who need it.
What I do is not a job. It's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of seeing. So if my work can help people change their lives or bring a better quality to their lives or more meaning, then I'm happy about that.
You believe in, I think I believe that people want to know if you believe that do you believe in like angels? Do you believe in because a lot of medium talks about angels and Michael and Gabriel.
The word angel is a word that's used, or an identity used, in many, many different ways. But let's just think of it like this. This higher intelligence that I work for, they have taken me on journeys and I've seen and experienced things that I wouldn't share with anyone because they wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
But in the human mind is such a powerful computer. It's infinite.
Yeah.
And with my mind, I've learned how to go into dimensions that people wouldn't believe. I'm not trying to put myself up.
No.
I'm a pioneer. I'm always going to be a pioneer. Yeah. I'd always want to go where no man's gone before. That was a problem in my life. but for example, I was doing a store sounds one evening in Uppland, and I'm leaving this. It's a cold, dark November evening. And as we left the building, this guy emerged from the shadows. And he looked like that guy from Back to the Future, you know.
Yeah,
just like him.
Not a professor.
Yeah. But he came up to me and he said, I've just been watching you, listening to you in there. He said, I wasn't meant to be there tonight. And he said, I'm a scientist. Would you be interested to do a research program with me? And then I remember something, unconsciously at first. That's what the medium said to me many years ago. You would work in research. Because every time I made a prediction, it's a signpost, a moment of recognition. So consciously, oh yeah, I remember, yeah, this is right.
Yeah.
It felt right. And then anyway, I did, and we did a lot of work together, and I ended up in China.
In China, doing the research?
Yeah. He did a lot of work in China. He talked to the professor there about me, and I said, yeah, okay, I'll come. And they asked me, the scientists asked me, well, can you show how by using EEG, how you can change the frequency of your mind? And I said, yes. We were able to do that. And after 2 weeks, there was enough information to present to a scientific conference.
That you can change the frequency?
Yes. Anyway, as I did that, I'm keeping it very simple now. Also, too, within the other part of the mind, it is said that the average human being uses 10-50% of the brain capacity. I found a mind map that can take me through the other 85%. And if I follow that, it can give me information that I don't even understand. I just give it to the scientists. Then it took me, so there was 9 different levels of consciousness. And when I got to the 9th level of consciousness, I looked up. I thought I could see stars, but they weren't. It was the borderline of the universal intelligence.
Did you get afraid when you saw that?
No. So that's what we're working on now.
So you're still working with this research team?
Oh yeah. Well, not in China, no, but I'm working with it.
Yeah. Is it that for you? This is like something you want to like leave, like a legacy that people will kind of like say, "Oh, Terry made it proof of the other side."
Well, let's not say proof, because proof is different for every individual. But let's just say this: I've used some of the knowledge that I learned from those frequencies, and I use it with my work now.
But is it like the dimensions? Is it like is it a parallel of we're living in different parallels?
Well, yeah, you're right. Because as I go through this, you're correct there. As I go through these different levels, they're parallel realities.
Yeah, but it is you can also have the contact with the parallel.
To a point, yeah. I'm still learning how to use that mind map.
Yeah. I have one question. This will sound very strange, but at the beginning, almost in the middle of we were like talking, behind you, it was a little light flying behind you.
Really?
Yeah. It was very strange. I saw it for a very fast second. Do you have like always people around you, like from the other side, to like?
I hope not. I hope not. I often put it like this. People think I'm opening to spirit all the time. God, if I was open to spirit all the time, I'd go. You'd have to take me to the, psychiatric acute. That's another thing you have to learn. When I'm working, I prepare myself. I connect with the frequencies or whatever. And when I do that, I get the energy from there. I don't burn myself out.
Okay.
But of course, sometimes my family come through, and if they come through, I know then it's something important that they want to talk to me about.
Yeah.
It could help me prevent something from happening or whatever. But no, but they're monitoring me all the time. They know who I am. That's why I make the joke. When I die, I've already booked the best 2 lawyers I have over that. When I make those jokes, it's because people think the mediums are so spiritual and so perfect, and I'm not perfect.
But I think that it's a lot of people that we talk with mediums. Sometimes they're like giving so much to others that they forget about themselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes we ask them, but why do you feel like so sad? Because but they like we're giving so much to others. Is it something you give also a lot?
Well,
and forget about you.
Yeah, to a point, yeah, sure. But for me, what I don't do is when I'm working with someone on a consultation or whatever, I don't get involved with their emotional life.
No.
To do my work, I've got to be neutral. My job as a medium is just to give the information I receive, give it to the person, and then their decision, their responsibility, what they want to do with it. But you can get emotionally too involved with people, not colleagues, but clients, people on the courses, and I don't do it. I say to them, I'm not here to solve all your problems.
too bad. I hope I am here today. But you think that a lot of people think want to know what you believe about when we die? Is it like we come back, or is it this a mission here in this earth, or is it like why do we do this trip?
Well, I've got a great belief in Buddhism, and also too in Buddhism, especially the Tibetan monks, there's a thing called the Akashic record, and that's a record of your soul's journey in every incarnation. I will start writing a new book soon about how my journey started before I came into, or continued before I came into this incarnation. And there I was. My guide, SKARPT, was with me, my soul companion. And he said, oh, they're going to be calling us soon. And there we were, suddenly in front of 3 light forms.
Yeah.
They were the guardians. And there we discussed what my next incarnation would be. And then they said, in this incarnation, it's going to be very tough. It's not going to be easy. But there, as you work with these things, you just won't be working with your ability. You'll be working with your soul. And he said, once you're born, you'll forget this meeting. But from time to time, we will show you a window that you can look through. Ah, that happened. A memory of the past, a memory of another place. So anyway, incarnation, yeah, I believe the soul makes many journeys.
Yeah. Do you think that you're like your soul is complete after this journey, or do you think you have a lot of more learning to do?
Well, I'm laughing at myself now. Such is that universal intelligence. There's no completion. It's an ongoing journey. And it's like when people say to me, well, I'm really developed now and I'm ready and I've done everything, I've learned everything. And I think, yeah, I've been there too. And as soon as I think I've learned something, something else comes up.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what's also intrigued me and motivated me to, because my life has had its problems too.
Yeah, of course.
And without those problems, without dealing, if I hadn't dealt with them in the way I did, I just would have become a victim.
Yeah.
That's not my worry.
But do you think we are alone in the universe, or do you think it's a lot of like souls going to different like planets to develop?
Yeah. Let's just say like this. With Escala, my guide, he's taught me so much. He's even taught me, explained to me how space travel works, UFOs.
Yeah.
And he said, Terry, you see them as solid matter. They can turn into solid matter. He said, sure. But he said, when we want to travel these vast distances through the universe, we have the technology to turn that solid matter into a frequency by taking apart the atoms.
Yeah, of course.
And when we do that, then we just become frequency, like they work with me now. So with those frequencies, it's a bit like Star Trek, you know.
Yeah.
So when we see UFOs, yes, we see them. And when they have landed, yes, there has been some kind of metallic form or whatever, but they don't. That solid form changes into a frequency.
Do you think that we are in the future going to do like solve this and do the same thing, or is it like for difficult for human?
Well, maybe, but it's changing, as you said. Things are changing so quickly. But in the since I've been working as a medium, things have changed and opened up so much. But I think that if you think about the word evolution, evolution is something that's ongoing. So I believe that with each generation, the human mind is becoming nearer and nearer these frequencies. And I think that, who knows, one day in the far distance of time, we won't need to have a physical body.
I hope that I need my physical body. It's like kind of scary. Det är lite läskigt ju Martin, om man inte har en fysisk form.
Läskigt, ja.
Ja.
Ja, verkligen.
Att man bara inte svävar hela tiden. Do you talk with, can you be like talking with yourself in a room with like a lot of different, I don't know, we'll call it ghosts or we'll call it souls maybe, that you talk with a lot of groups, but
in here, when I'm having a group.
But from the other side, that you like talking with 10 ghosts at the same time, or is it like one at a time? Or how does it work in your head?
Well, when I'm working as a medium, I can have one person talking to me, or I can have 3 different spirits talking to me.
Yeah.
And as they're talking to me, they'll kind of each take their turn. But when I'm working as a medium, I can hear. Just to make it very simple, I can put myself into a frame of mind where a scholar, and there's 20 people here, and if a scholar, he comes and he'll say to me, right, step out. I'm not in trance. I just come out of my head, step out of my head. He said, let me come through. And as he comes through, I don't tell the people what they're going to see because I don't know. But every time we do this, everybody in the room, it's like a scholar sending 20 different frequencies through me, and each frequency is for every individual in this room. And they can either see or feel or hear, and I don't say a word.
But you also see them also.
Yeah.
How they look like? What do they show them? How they die when they die, or is it like they show them when they look like the best when they're like going to the party?
Well, the thing is when someone passes and they come back, they don't always come back at the age that they passed.
Okay.
they want to look better, but they come back when they were at the time when they felt good. But they can tell us of how they passed. But even when I work as a medium, I don't always know how that spirit's going to communicate with me. It can be with a picture, a feeling, or a word. It depends on how they were best at communicating.
Of course.
Some come through and it's just easy, so easy, and others come through and it's not as easy to understand what they're saying.
But do you think it's important to the ghost or to the spirit to come through sometimes? Is it like you can be like annoyed because they want to like, come on Terry, tell them.
Annoyed in what way?
Like if we are going into, like today we come in the room and somebody want to tell us something, do you like feel that somebody trying to connect, or is it like they are just, you can like tell it, no, not now, and you just...
You're really smart there. I like that question because it's almost like being manipulated. Give me some information.
No, but the thing is that I think that if there...
Spirit can be, it depends on the situation. It depends on what importance it is for me to be able to pass that information on to someone else. And I remember one time when I was with my girlfriend, and she had two kids that weren't mine. And anyway, they came through and they said to me, "Tell her to take her son to the doctor tomorrow." So I said, "You really need to take your kid to the doctor." No. Papa said, "Han är förkyld bara, ingen mer." Okay. But they got angry. Well, not angry, but they were really pushing me. And I had to say, take him. Anyway, to cut a long story short, she took him to the doctor the following day. I was coming to work and do some work in Sweden. And she said, the doctor said, he just has a shield. 3 weeks later, he was at Dargis, and they thought he was having an asthma attack. And he wasn't. He had a lymphoma, cancer, around his windpipe. He was 4 years old, 4.5 years old. Anyway, that was another interesting story because 2 years before that, I'd met his father, who'd come to a store seance. And I'd said to him, to simplify it, I said, it's not going to be fair about Louis or Louis. And this his father was French. And I didn't know what it meant, but anyway, everything else he knew, but he didn't understand that. I saw him two or 3 years later, and he came up and said, when I came to Astral Sounds, he said, I didn't know my wife was pregnant. We called him Louis. Louis died.
I feel the chilling. Yeah, I think so. I'll do it.
So they knew, they told me, they told me, before he was even born, he wasn't meant to live for a long time.
Was it like, do you think this was like for the parents to learn something, or why do you think this happened?
Well, that's really interesting because they divorced, and it has nothing to do with me.
No.
But they divorced, and we kind of came together. And one day I was really feeling really sorry for her. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go and connect with her and get into her head and give her a lot of my energy. And as I tried to do that, the spirit jumped in and said, stop. You are disturbing the universal laws.
Mm.
What she is experiencing now is karmic. I got stopped.
No.
So anyway, that little boy, he passed. But the interesting thing was, the spirit came to me and said, you've got to prepare him to pass over. And I'm thinking, what? How do you do that?
Yeah.
But then one day I decided he liked me to tell him stories. So and he was in bed anyway. And then I said, shall we tell a story? Yeah. So I said, okay, we're walking through a forest. What do you see? Oh, and he could see things, he had a child's mind.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, I said, can you see that big tree? Yeah. Shall we go inside? Yeah. And anyway, when we got inside the tree, and he said, I can hear someone singing. Yeah. What do you think it's like? It feels like angels. Oh, shall we go up to the next level? So we go up the stairs and said, and then he said, I said, what can you see there? He said, no more. And then we got higher and went up again a little bit more. And then he said, I can see and hear the angels singing. Then I realized afterwards, when he passed, that he was given that so he would know where to go. I can't prove it.
No. But you had have contact with Louis after?
He's been back, yes, he's been back. He's back, and when he was really sick, I stepped out of the relationship because it was something that his mother and his father had to deal with. There was no place for me. But anyway, before I bought him an electric car, remote control. And a student I was teaching many, many years ago, she brought him back. She said, she talked about the car and everything. So, yes.
What is the most scary thing that you have been facing?
Oh, we've got 5 hours. There's a lot of things, and that's why it's so important for mediums not to develop or open up too fast, because you can meet things that you're not emotionally ready to handle. The most scariest thing, one of the most scariest things I ever met was when I was working in South Africa, and this friend of mine, she said, we've been invited out for dinner. Oh, where are we going? Out to a farmhouse that's out in the bush, an old farmhouse. So as we were travelling there, I said, okay, why are we really going there? And she laughed. She said, I wonder when you think about this or realise this or ask this question. And then I said, well, she said, there was a lot of young executives, in their 20s, 30s, that lived there. They shared a house together. And a young man there, he was one of the people living there, a young man, was found dead. And they couldn't find any clinical reason why he had died. So, but in this old farmhouse on the ground there was an old burial place for the people that had lived there, like a family. I don't know if you've ever been to Africa, but when you walk in an African night, it just goes black.
Okay, it's like that.
So we were walking on this track, and then said, "I'm open now because I'm checking."
Scanning.
Scanning, and then suddenly, bang! Out of the bush jumped this big African guy. He was a spirit, and he was angry. He was really angry. He said, "What are you doing in this place? This is my place. I'm the guardian here." He was angry, and he was. Anyway,
but did you know that it was a spirit? Or did
yes.
you thought,
I
felt,
could see him. I could see him.
So it was like you didn't think maybe it was a real person first.
No. He was a spirit.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, I apologised very quickly because I'd gone into that place because I was open, and he'd seen me coming.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to the burial place, and nothing there. It's clean. We go back to the house to have dinner, and as we were having dinner, this man who died came through, and he said, "What?" He told us what had happened. He said, "I was playing games with my mind that I shouldn't have done, and I taught myself to leave my body. But when your spirit body leaves you, it's connected to your physical body by what they call the silver cord."
Yeah.
Guess who he met? The African.
The guardian?
He met him, this African. He met him. And he'd made the same mistake as I'd made, or I'd got into his place. And he was so afraid that silver cord snapped. Oh, he couldn't get back into his body.
This is like very. People talked about this when you have like the insomnia, paralysis, that you will leave your body when you're asleep. That you have your silver cord.
Yeah.
It's very important to not cut the silver cord.
Well, it's not to go into a situation like this young man did.
No.
Shock. When he met this spirit, he wasn't emotionally ready to handle it. So just like us here.
Yeah. But it like was sort of when the silver cords like because the soul doesn't find the body again, or is it?
No, because that's a connection.
This is a connection, okay.
Yeah, if you're that guy, you're dead.
Yeah.
And that's why they couldn't find any biological reason why this guy had died.
Så that's why Martin, vi får inte den några silvertråd någonstans.
Nej, de ska vi hålla koll på.
Vi kanske ska skaffa en guldtråd istället.
Ja, som inte går.
Something else that you know a lot of things, a lot of people. Do you use like a pickup line for the girls?
Me? Do I use a pickup line for them?
Yeah. It's like more easy to get girls when you know about everything about them.
Some women, it's pretty psychological really. When I read people and I can see them and who they really are, it's like, wow, someone sees me. Someone realizes who I really am, and that's a really intimate thing. So sometimes they kind of think they're falling in love with me.
Yeah.
But it isn't me they've fallen in love with, it's the fact that someone saw them.
Yeah.
I remember one lady, I have had a few problems like that with women, but I remember one lady, she came to me one day, she said, "Spirit have been talking to me that you and I are going to have a relationship." And I said, "Well, that's a pity, they haven't told me anything about that."
I love that one. She comes and tells you that the spirits are talking to her about this.
But it's but no, I can say this, I've never needed a pick-up line to find a woman or for them to find me. It's like, I've always had that.
But is it difficult to have a relationship with someone who is not in a medium? Is it like more difficult because you pick up like things that you maybe don't want to know?
My wife, you know, she has mediumistic ability. She believes in these things, so it's not a problem, you know. But if you are with someone that is completely against it and doesn't believe it, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It's got to be someone that has a similar mindset.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe it in the way you do, but it's a similar mindset.
Det har varit grymt intressant att ha med Terry. Alltså, man skulle kunna sitta och prata med Terry i timmar.
Och bara lyssna.
Och bara lyssna. Ja, du har ju varit fantastiskt bra lyssnare, Martin. Det är vad mycket folk ska säga. Tjejer bara, Martin, du ska prata och lyssna.
Helt perfekt på det idag.
Terry, I think a lot of people want to know if you believe that before we quit here, if there are like bad spirits also, or is it like only good spirits and light, or is it like dark and light? Or
Well, let's just think of the human beings.
the same, it's blind.
You know, there's human beings that are not so nice, and there's human beings that are nicer.
Yeah.
I don't believe anyone's perfect. But yes, I've met negative spirits, and they are spirits that haven't gone to the light. That's what I was doing on the Oshunda. But a lot of things that, you know, when I'm doing investigating houses and people get a bad feeling about the house, most of them think it's spirits. It isn't always spirits. Every house, every place has its memory of everything that's happened there. You know, and so sometimes if they feel bad in a place, they think it's an evil spirit. It's not.
No.
It's a house. Sometimes, I'll tell you this story. It's a personal story, but I'll tell you. I many years ago, I woke up one night and I felt real hatred in the room. It was pure. It was, and I thought, what on earth is that? Then I realised the hate wasn't from a spirit or from a house. It was me. It's how it was a relationship I'd had with myself, the underlying factor. And that was because of my upbringing. So all that anger, all that disappointment, all the, it's like, you know, it collects. And we feel it, but we push it down. That's what's happened to you.
Yeah.
Your life wasn't always very easy,
No.
even as a boy.
No. It's true. I think it's like you say. I think maybe the people here, people like try hide the problem, and
Well, we push it down. We
Push it
take
down,
it into denial.
and one day it just will like come to the
Well,
surface.
that's one of the things I work with, because that's something I realised about myself when I was very younger. I realised, because I had a history, I needed to fix it, you know, and work with it, not deny it. And that's the best investment I ever had, you know, on my own mission to discover who I really am and what I need to accept and work with. If I hadn't done that, I, in all probability, wouldn't be here today. It would have eventually caught up with me and destroyed me.
So it's very important. Like if you want to give like a tip for people that are not medium or psychic, it's like to try to work with themselves and listen to what they really need or find themselves.
Well, I won't tell them what to do.
No.
I don't want to tell people what to do. But I can share this. If I have been successful at anything, was when I dared to challenge myself and ask for help, not to try to fix everything on my own.
Looking at Martin.
Because that never worked. You end up like a dog chasing your tail.
Yeah.
You go back to the same situation again and again and again.
Yes.
And then you say to God, well, why is this happening to me? Because you're not listening. Do you understand?
Yes.
But the thing is, I started going into therapy. I started getting a lot of help. And the greatest challenge for me in my life is to meet myself, to meet my purpose, and to admit what I am and what I'm not. Because if you don't admit it and you don't deal with it, it's a curse. Spirit can't fix that. You know that. You should write your book one day. Don't waste too much time writing that book, will you?
Yeah, you should write the book. Yeah.
Right,
You have a
so
lot of stories to tell.
he's a natural writer, this guy.
Yeah.
And you're a natural philosopher too. You've always been fascinated with the mind and psychology and all that.
Ja, verkligen.
Det är sant va? Ja.
You could be a great teacher, you could be a great communicator. I would listen to you when you started talking and you opened up this program, you were natural. Sorry to give you some good news.
Så du måste prata engelska nu va?
Ja, precis. Vi får börja med det.
Du kanske inte är engelska lärare? No, but when you talk what I know about Martin, because our journey started together.
Yeah.
But it was we have like 4 years that we know each other, but we don't know each other as this. We just know just through jobs, and you're right. He's a very deep person, and yes, when he talks, people listen. That's true, yeah.
Can I say something to you personally?
Yes.
A child that screamed in a bedroom and the light was off and no one came. Time for him to come out of that bedroom. Which one?
Take it out.
A child, you, as a young child, when you didn't feel good, when everything was dark, and you screamed for help, but no one's heard your scream.
Du var i ett badrum va?
In the bedroom.
I sovrummet.
When you were sleeping. You see, just think about that. But I've taken you to a deep place, and where you've never been before, or you forgot, or you wanted to forget. And of course you would, as a child. But I won't say too much more here because it's live. But I'll just say one thing to you. You're a good guy. And I'm not joking, you are a good guy. And anyone that has you as a friend is a lucky person. Because you wouldn't stab anyone in the back, you tell them straight first.
Ja, så
And this is like not the first time the medium had told you that. It's like the third or fourth time that the people said that you're a really good friend. So I'm really lucky.
There you are.
Ja, så
Really lucky. So now I can tell you every secret I have.
But you have had your heart broken.
Jag har det, ja.
Yeah, you really. And you're still carrying pain from childhood.
Det är ju intressant, men...
He's not going to say everything because we're not serious. I won't do it, but anyway. But I would say it's amazing that you've got this far. Well done. Especially the way you changed your life around these last 10 years. You're not the same guy anymore.
Nej, det är inte.
We have this is something we talked before. You have changed your life. Kind of radical.
Ja,
Väldigt. From you have I don't know what you call it. You have like missbruk.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And he's been like sober like for 10 years, I think.
I know you wanted to say to you just now, Skull.
Det är 10 år nu,
10 år,
första februari, förlåt mig då, det här.
But you know what? The funny thing about addiction is that the work I've done on it is that a lot of people that become addicts is because when they take that drug, it can take them to a place within their mind and experience things that normally they can't get to. But, you know, talking to a psychiatrist about this, and he said, and it is said, a lot of addicts say choose drugs, but really they're searching for spirituality.
Looking for something, for an answer maybe.
Yeah, within,
yeah. Ja, grymt intressant att ha Terry med oss då.
Ja, väldigt. Det är väldigt intressant att lyssna.
Ja, precis. Och jag har ju fått träna på min engelska om inte annat ju. Terry, do you feel that you want to say something else? Where can they find you? They can find you, Terry, a creative experience. They can, if they want to know more about you, or how does it work?
What I will say to everybody who's listening to this program, it's been a pleasure to be here. And I want to thank the two guys who decided to take this interview with me, because what they have done is a very important thing. They've not tried to tell anybody what to believe or how to think, but what they've offered you something that is unique. And that's they've given you something that maybe will help you open your mind and realize who you really are and how you can really, really, really discover your life's purpose. So if you want to hear more from me, you can, or find out what I'm doing or how I am, just get in touch with Creative Experiences at, Terry Evans dot creativeexperiences.com.
Great.
Or you can call 0581 519 00 and find out all about me.
But if you're a medium, you know the number.
If you're a medium, I don't know if I know the number. But it's been, thanks guys, it's been really, really, really interesting.
Before we quit, I have a question, because the thing is that when we first time took contact with Creative Experience, we didn't know, we were like, Terry Evans said yes, is it possible? Is it like, did you have like intuition about this? Did you like feel something that this was okay to like feel? Because I know that you don't do a lot of interviews, I think.
I tell you why I did. I did some work with another pod radio, and they're like guys like you. They're not just working with spiritual things; they're working with other things too. I did it because I believe in what you guys are doing, and what you guys are doing. Like I said to the other pod radio, you are pioneering. You are opening new doors, and you must never stop. That's why I did it.
Thank you for believing in us.
I do. You're both sincere. You're both honest. And you remind me of me when I first started my journey. Of course, you want recognition. You want to have money so you can become a business. But just think about this. Since you started, how many doors has it opened for you within your mind?
A lot of doors.
But you're never going to be able to get bored with that, are you?
No. And we talked this about the people that we meet, that's the experience and the contact that we have with people. It's been like great experience for us, and we hope it will never end.
Well, I'll just share this. People say to me, Terry, when are you going to retire? And I think, well, what would I do if I retired? I would be trouble. Because how can you retire from something that is your life's purpose? You can't.
Martin, det här ska vi ta med oss då. Vi hoppas på att det här är våra mening i våra liv.
Det här är det, ja.
Och det gäller det vi känner, och vi hoppas verkligen att folk där ute verkligen också ser att vi verkligen gör detta för vi verkligen älskar det. Jag vill verkligen tacka Terry för att vi har fått den här fantastiska möjligheten att komma hit.